Today on the CTV News at 5, the high stakes of cattle rustling on Alberta beef producers. And searching for a cure, how a southern Alberta family is battling with a rare genetic disease.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. The stakes for cattle rustling in Alberta have just gone up. A provincial organization is increasing the reward for tipsters who help to catch cattle thieves. Alicia Fieldberg met with some southern Alberta ranchers who say the change comes at an important time.
For the first time in more than a century, Western Stock Growers Association has beefed up the reward to catch cattle thieves to $50,000. With the price of beef at a 10-year high and continuing to rise, so are the cases of stolen livestock. Ranchers say that's affecting their bottom line.
This year, cattle prices are up. Breeding cows are, upwards of 2,000. They say pairs this spring might hit 2,500. That's a direct impact on your line.
Doug Cast has had cattle go missing over the years, including one a few months ago. He doesn't know for sure whether she was stolen, but says she hasn't turned up yet.
You start losing 10, well, that's a little more suspicious.
Doug Allen hasn't lost any cattle, but says 10 of his neighbors' cows went missing recently. He thinks technology has made ranchers more vulnerable to cattle rustling, especially for operators with large remote pastures.
People have been known to even take helicopters in there after cattle. And now that the country's opened up to ATVs and things like that, I mean, anything's possible.
The old reward for information leading to the arrest of a cattle thief was $1,000. That was put in place back in 1896, but ranchers say that just wasn't cutting it anymore.
$1,000, somebody might not turn their neighbor or friend in, but at $50,000, fair game there.
Ranchers think the provincial change is only one step in the right direction. Many suspect cattle thieves are taking livestock into Manitoba, where identification regulations are different.
There is no brand inspection. I mean, it's open territory. You can load cattle up and move them without a manifest or anything.
Ranchers hope the higher reward will help deter potential thieves, but think the best protection is still branding and good neighbors. Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, east of Taber.
Earlier this week, Alberta Mounties charged a man from Ardrossan in central Alberta with cattle theft and fraud. RCMP say a producer east of Edmonton alleged that 3 years ago, 138 head of his purebred Angus cattle had been stolen and sold. A 43-year-old Lethbridge woman charged in connection with over $2.8 million in mortgage frauds will now stand trial in December instead of next month. Adina Harms Barbour is accused of 8 counts of fraud over $5,000, using a forged document and even possessing stolen property. She was charged last January after a 3-year investigation by regional police. The trial had to be moved when Harms Barbour's lawyer withdrew from the case. Now the 10-day trial is set to begin December the 3rd. And regional police have charged a 22-year-old man after a New Year's Day assault with a machete. It happened along the 1000 block of 7th Street North. A 32-year-old man suffered a deep cut after he was allegedly approached by a man swinging a machete. The two men are said to have known each other. Morley Steve Akamnachi faces assault with weapons charges. And regional police are asking for your help finding a missing teen. This is 14-year-old Lauren Topolowski. She was last seen in Lethbridge February 9th. She's about 5'8", 110 pounds with long black hair, green eyes and glasses. Foul play isn't suspected, but if you've seen her or have any information, you're asked to contact police or Crime Stoppers. Trouble today for the former president of the Mount Royal University Students Association in Calgary. Megan Melnick is charged with robbing a bank. Police accuse Melnick of walking into a service credit union in southeast Calgary yesterday, saying she had a weapon and demanding money. Investigators say the robber got away with some cash. Police arrested Melnick a short time later. The 27-year-old is facing several charges, including robbery and possession of a prohibited weapon. Melnick was the student body president at Mount Royal University until she resigned just a month ago. At the time of her arrest, she was also wanted for fraud. Dory's here with the forecast, and today is the meteorological first day of spring, and temperatures are going up too.
Absolutely, they are going up, and then they're going to go down. We've got another system moving in from the BC coast. In advance of that system, it'll bump temperatures up right around the 11 or 12 degree mark for Sunday, but then after that, we'll have a little bit of a slide down the scale. I'll tell you all about it in a couple of minutes.
Thanks, Dory. Federal civil service members are fanning out across Alberta and the rest of Canada, protesting the Harper government's attempt to rein in federal spending.
Public service.
Standing together for public service.
In Lethbridge, a rally was held by members of the Public Service Alliance of Canada, or PSAC, protesting proposed cuts to civil service jobs. Union members are calling on Federal Finance Minister Jim Flaherty to strengthen the civil service instead of cutting the federal workforce. The Public Service Alliance is organizing its National Day of Action one day after Flaherty announced he's tabling his budget March 29th.
$4 billion is not a little cut, especially when it's on top of all that we've been through on the expenditure review. What we're saying is these cuts are going to affect people working for the government that provide services to the public. There's going to be less of us.
In the last 10 years, federal public sector job creation has grown 2.5 times faster than that of the private sector. Teachers across BC will be on strike as of Monday. That's the word from the BC Teachers Federation president, after teachers voted 87% in favor of escalating their job action. 32,000 teachers cast ballots on the vote yesterday. They'll be off the job from Monday to Wednesday, the 3 full days permitted by the Labor Relations Board. The teachers union has been trying to get the province to budge on contract demands for the past 6 months. They're looking for a 15% raise and better benefits. A group of Lethbridge citizens is asking City Council to update the term alderman to councillor. Last November, Council agreed to refer the issue to its Open and Effective Government Committee after receiving a submission from a U of L political science student. Now, the matter was brought back to Council in February after the committee failed to reach a consensus, and now a coalition of citizens is throwing their support behind the name change. They're scheduled to make a presentation at Monday's City Council meeting. Council members could make a motion to approve the change at that meeting. Well, there's a lot of things that go into building a new home. Planning for it to burn to the ground isn't usually one of them. A construction company in Lethbridge is promoting the benefits of building homes with fire-resistant wood. The lumber is called pink wood and it's manufactured in Calgary. The wood is treated with a factory coating system that makes it fire-resistant as well as protecting against moisture and rot. The cost of construction adds around 1.5% to the price of a new home. It's not only designed to protect the lives of the families living inside, but those whose jobs it is to save the house from burning.
We'll keep the homes from collapsing sooner. It has the potential to save firefighters' lives when we go in to try and put a fire out. It prevents a house from totally being destroyed because it slows the fire down long enough for us to be able to get there and put the fire out.
And partial proceeds of the sale of the pink wood is going to fight breast cancer. $25,000 has been raised so far. Devastating and heartbreaking is how a southern Alberta family describes their battle with a rare genetic disease. Randy Van Heerden died from a degenerative disease known as AT when he was just 20 years old. Now, Randy's second cousin has been diagnosed with the same condition. Family members say research is the only hope for 2-year-old Alex Olive, and they're now in a race against time. Terry Boat reports.
Alex Olive is an energetic, growing boy who will be 2 years old next week.
Well, Alex has always been, let's get up and go. 9 months of age, he started to just run. Like, run. There was no crawling, he was just gone.
His parents, Rob and Crystal Olive, say Alex is full of fun, loves to run and draw pictures. But they know it won't always be like this. A few months ago, he was diagnosed with a rare degenerative disease known as AT, a disease that led to the death of Crystal's second cousin, Randy Van Heerden, 8 years ago. For the family, the diagnosis was devastating.
It was the hardest moment of my life because I had watched my cousin suffer through this disease, and now we're going to do it again.
AT is a genetic condition that combines the worst symptoms of muscular dystrophy, cerebral palsy, cystic fibrosis, immune deficiencies, and cancer. Most children are confined to a wheelchair by age 10 and often don't survive their teens.
It took us 4 years to diagnose Randy with ataxia telangiectasia. Now, for Rob and Crystal, it took 2 days because of knowledge we have and tests that can be done.
For the past 14 years, Conrad Van Heerden and his family have worked tirelessly to increase awareness and raise money for AT research, at first in hopes of finding a cure to save Randy, now in an effort to help other families going through this devastating and heartbreaking experience.
They're always making progress in different areas. This year they're focusing a little bit more effort into finding a way to slow down the cell death in AT children and strengthen their immune system.
I always knew how important the AT Children's Project was, but now it's personal, right? It's my son, it's our son.
For me, I want something to help him to be able to be just like everyone else, grow up just like everyone else.
Family members say one thing AT didn't take from Randy was his spirit, that he was a fun and amazing kid whose motto was never give up. They say as long as the research is being done, there's always hope for children like Alex. Terry Vogt, CTV News, near Fort Macleod.
You can support research and learn more about AT at a Rare Disease Day dinner and auction tomorrow evening in Fort Macleod. The event gets underway 6 p.m. in the Trinity United Church Hall. It includes a video presentation as well as a buffet dinner and silent auction. On the markets today, a lot of up arrows. The dollar climbed even higher. Here are the closing numbers.